The last dragon of Atlantis. Leo had always loved the ocean. He would spend hours on the beach, watching the waves, collecting shells, and dreaming of the mysteries that lay beneath the surface. He had a knack for finding rare and beautiful things, like starfish, coral, and even a shark tooth once. He often wondered what else he could find if he could dive deeper and explore the underwater world. One day, he got his chance. His uncle, who was a marine biologist, had invited him to join him on a research expedition to the Atlantic Ocean. He said they were going to study some ancient ruins that had been discovered near the Bermuda Triangle. Leo was thrilled. He had always been fascinated by the legends of Atlantis, the lost city that sank into the sea thousands of years ago. He hoped he would see some traces of the ancient civilization, maybe even some treasure or artifacts. He packed his bags and boarded the plane with his uncle. They flew to a small island, where they met the rest of the team. There were 4 other scientists, 2 divers, and a pilot. They all greeted Leo warmly and made him feel welcome. They told him he was lucky to be part of such an exciting project. They boarded a helicopter and flew over the ocean. Leo looked out the window and saw the water change color from blue to green to turquoise. He saw dolphins, whales, and schools of fish. He felt a surge of excitement and anticipation. They reached the coordinates of the ruins and landed on a large ship. The ship was equipped with a submarine, a sonar, and a crane. The scientists explained that they would use the submarine to explore the ruins, while the sonar would map the area and the crane would lift any objects they found. Leo was eager to see the submarine. He followed his uncle to the lower deck, where the submarine was docked. It was a sleek and shiny vessel, with a round window and a hatch. His uncle told him it was called the Nautilus, after the famous submarine from Jules Verne's novel. "Can I go inside?" Leo asked. "Sure, why not?" his uncle said. "But don't touch anything, okay? This is a very sophisticated machine." Leo nodded and climbed into the submarine. He felt a rush of adrenaline as he entered the cockpit. He saw a lot of buttons, levers, and screens. He felt like he was in a spaceship. He sat on the driver's seat and looked through the window. He saw the ocean, the ship, and the sky. He imagined he was about to embark on an epic adventure. He heard a knock on the hatch. He turned and saw his uncle smiling at him. "Ready to go?" his uncle asked. Leo nodded eagerly. "Great, let's go then." His uncle opened the hatch and climbed in. He closed the hatch and locked it. He sat on the co-pilot's seat and put on a headset. He spoke into the microphone. "Nautilus to base, we are ready to dive. Over. Base to Nautilus, you are clear to dive. Over. Roger that. Nautilus diving. Over and out." His uncle pulled a lever and the submarine started to descend. Leo felt a slight pressure in his ears. He looked through the window and saw the water get darker and deeper. He saw more fish, corals, and seaweed. He saw a stingray, a turtle, and an octopus. He was amazed by the diversity and beauty of the marine life. They reached the bottom of the ocean, about 300 meters below the surface. They turned on the headlights and saw the ruins. Leo gasped. He saw stone columns, arches, statues, and buildings. He saw carvings, symbols, and inscriptions. He saw gold, silver, and jewels. He saw the remains of a magnificent city, a city that had once been the center of a great civilization. "Wow," he whispered. "Wow indeed," his uncle said. "This is Atlantis, Leo. The real Atlantis, and we are the first ones to see it in millennia." They drove the submarine around the ruins, exploring and observing. They took pictures and videos. They scanned and measured. They collected samples and artifacts. They were like kids in a candy store, excited and curious. They saw temples, palaces, markets, and theaters. They saw fountains, gardens, and pools. They saw statues of gods, kings, and heroes. They saw paintings, mosaics, and sculptures. They saw weapons, tools, and machines. They saw books, scrolls, and tablets. They saw a rich and advanced culture, a culture that had mastered art, science, and magic. They also saw signs of destruction. They saw cracks, holes, and rubble. They saw broken walls, pillars, and roofs. They saw fire, smoke, and ash. They saw skeletons, bones, and skulls. They saw a violent and tragic end, an end that had wiped out an entire civilization. "What happened here?" Leo asked. "Nobody knows for sure," his uncle said. "Some say it was a natural disaster, like an earthquake, a volcano, or a flood. Some say it was a war with another powerful nation or a war within themselves. Some say it was a curse from the gods or a curse from their own hubris. Whatever it was sudden and devastating. It happened around 10,000 BC, according to our dating methods. And it left no survivors. Or so we thought. What do you mean? Leo asked. His uncle smiled mysteriously. You'll see, he said. He drove the submarine to the center of the city, where a large pyramid stood. It was the tallest and most impressive structure in the ruins. It had 4 sides, each with a different color: red, blue, green, and yellow. It had a golden capstone, which shone brightly in the headlights. It had a huge door, which was closed and sealed. This is the pyramid of the 4 elements, his uncle said. It was the heart of Atlantis, the source of their power and wisdom. It was also their greatest secret, their most sacred treasure. And we are going to open it. He pressed a button and the submarine fired a laser beam at the door. The door melted and fell apart, revealing a dark tunnel. The submarine entered the tunnel and followed it to the end. There, they saw a large chamber, filled with light and color. They saw 4 statues, each representing an element: a lion for fire, a dolphin for water, a bird for air, and a bull for earth. They saw 4 crystals, each emitting a different energy: a ruby for fire, a sapphire for water, an emerald for air, and a topaz for earth. They saw 4 pedestals, each with a slot for a crystal. And they saw a 5th pedestal, in the middle of the chamber, with a slot for a 5th crystal. But the 5th crystal was missing. This is the chamber of the elements, his uncle said. It was the core of the pyramid, the place where the Atlanteans controlled the forces of nature. It was also the place where they kept their most precious possession, the 5th element. The element of life, the element of magic, the element of the dragon. The dragon? Leo asked. Yes, the dragon, the last dragon of Atlantis. The guardian and protector of the city. The symbol and embodiment of the civilization. The dragon was the ultimate power, the ultimate mystery, the ultimate wonder. And it was the ultimate secret. Only the king and the high priest knew of its existence. And only they had access to the chamber. And only they had the key to the chamber. The 5th crystal. The crystal of the dragon. The crystal of the soul. Where is it? Leo asked. Nobody knows, his uncle said. Some say it was lost, stolen, or destroyed. Some say it was hidden, buried, or protected. Some say it was taken, escaped, or freed. Whatever it was gone. And without it, the chamber was useless. And without the chamber, the pyramid was powerless. And without the pyramid, Atlantis was doomed. He paused and looked at Leo. Or so we thought, he said. He pressed another button and the submarine fired another laser beam at the 5th pedestal. The pedestal opened and revealed a secret compartment. Inside the compartment, there was a small box. Inside the box, there was a small crystal. A crystal that sparkled with all the colors of the rainbow. A crystal that pulsed with a warm and gentle light. A crystal that radiated a pure and powerful magic. The 5th crystal. The crystal of the dragon. The crystal of the soul. Leo's eyes widened. Is that? He asked. His uncle nodded. Yes, it is, he said. We found it. We found the key. We found the secret. We found the dragon. He took the crystal and held it in his hand. He felt a surge of energy and emotion. He felt a connection and a communication. He felt a presence and a personality. He heard a voice in his mind. A voice that spoke in a language he did not know, but understood. A voice that said, "Hello, friend, I have been waiting for you. For a long time, for a very long time. I am glad you are here. I am glad you found me. I am glad you freed me. I am the last dragon of Atlantis. And you are my new master."